we are not going to have all the answers on this platform, but we are really depending on the people of Trinidad and Tobago to get involved with us. And the ideas that we have and the answers that we have, most of it is derived from our interaction with the wider public. So we really need Trinidad and Tobago to come together. And that is why our platform is coined Better United. I will quote one of the greats of Trinidad and Tobago, former Calypso monarch, Helen Francis. Trinidad and Tobago is a bandit factory. And I don't want to, I'm not casting a negative light on our beautiful country, but we have seen constantly that we are producing young men and young women. I don't want to call them criminals and label them in that light, because they're human beings, they're citizens, they're Trinbagonians. But we are producing these youth who are inclined and who make a decision, sometimes conscious, sometimes unconscious, to get involved in criminal activity. If a factory is producing something, you don't blame the product for what is being produced. You blame the factory. Something is wrong with the process. Nothing is wrong with our people, you know. And of course, the people are part of the process. But nothing is wrong with those young men who are coming up, you know, except that they have been produced in that way. We have so many issues in Trinidad and Tobago, and Carolyn spoke about the holistic approach towards crime. We have so many issues in terms of family breakdown. We have cycles of violence in communities where young men grow up in a community and they adopt a war against another community. Some of them don't even know how it started, but they are trapped in that just because of locality where they are born. If you listen to the gospel of the youth, the music that we hear bombarding us on a constant basis across all of the urban major radio stations, it carries you to a negative place. The trend now, and I know some of you might know the trend nowadays, but you're in touch, man, even as older people. The trend nowadays is this Zessa movement, and badness has almost come back into style, you know, and that is accepted as part of our culture now. So everybody wants to zest, and zest basically means having the cars and the clothes and the money and enjoying yourself. It has nothing to do with hard work, sacrifice, you know, family strength, it nurturing. And that is the predominant trend in our society at this point in time that is influencing the youth. So what do we expect to be produced? If we look up at our leaders who are telling us, do this, but we are looking at them and we are seeing that their actions are profit-driven. You know, there is this mentality in Trinidad and Tobago, and it is proven by some of the actions of our leaders that everything is about corruption. It is about wealth. They want to drive the biggest cars. They want to have the biggest houses. And if that is what you're going to emulate in the society, and the way that you see those people reaching that place where they have is from criminal activity, is from wrongdoing, is from corruption, then what do you expect from the youth? We live in an extremely hypocritical society, and the young people are not stupid. Unless we change that type of leadership, unless we begin to be real with our young people, unless we create real opportunities for them to attain their dreams and their goals and their aspirations, we are going to continue to see many of them choose the wrong path. We have a commissioner of police that has decided the way that he's going to solve the problem is by killing the youth. And not just, he's killing not the people who are exploiting these young men, not the leaders, not those who are telling them, okay, I will give you a gun so that you can get food. I will give you a walk to go and handle this or handle that. He's just dealing with the people, the young people who are being exploited. So you're seeing for the year about 30 young men, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, killed by the police. And they think that this is going to be the solution. But what do we see? We see countless other young men coming up and taking their position and doing the same thing. So something is fundamentally wrong in our society. I spoke to a minister of sport some years back, and I said, okay, we have had Latapi and York, these people, Kenwin Jones, young men who went out there and they flew the Trinidad and Tobago flag. They themselves as entities have created wealth for Trinidad and Tobago. They've come back home, they've brought what they've earned, they've fed their families, etc. I said, listen, pay an agent to market Trinidad and Tobago players, right? Yeah, that's not a bad idea. And it never materialized. But what we will see is that a stadium in Diego Martin would be built for $115 million. And when you look at programs and activities in that stadium, no money is allocated. Actually, and this is a real situation, when the Professional League, Football League in Trinidad and Tobago approaches the government to get subventions, to get money to run this football league that can showcase the talent and develop the sporting genius that we have in Trinidad and Tobago. They can't get the money, but they will find money to finish Brian Lara $1 billion wasted. When $1 billion into people in Trinidad and Tobago, into young men, into the best coaches, into whatever is needed for them to fulfill their talent and go out. I mean, not to speak about myself, there are young men who have so much talent that they get contracts abroad for teams.
An example, like
let me close off, yeah.
Yes,
and they don't even have the money to pay for the airfare to go to take up this trial to get a job playing professional football. And no provision is being made for them. Yet we spend all sorts of money wasted on other things. So people need to be put first, and we need to stop telling our youth what to do without setting the right example.
All right, thank you very much.